Hi, welcome to Mr. Otter Studio. Today is Vincent Van Gogh's birthday, and he is one of my favorite painters, one of my favorite artists. So we are going to be doing a oil pastel reproduction of sunflowers. This is the one that he painted in 1888, and this is the third version of sunflowers that he painted. The supplies you need are some oil pastels. Paper, you can use construction paper. I'm using white Bristol paper. You need a pencil and an eraser and some paper towel to keep your oil pastels clean. You don't have to have this. You can just draw in your border, but I like to tape my border when I'm drawing with oil pastels, just so I can keep my edges nice and crisp, and also so I don't have to frame it. If you're using masking tape, go ahead and tape your border. Here is an image of the painting that we're going to be reproducing. So what we're going to do is sketch it first in pencil, then we will block in the colors, and then we will add the details on top and some of the texture with our oil pastels. So there are 11 different sunflowers in this vase. At least I think so. There might be one that's kind of mixed with this other one on the left. One of them we can just see the back. So this green area over here on the left, if you look at the left side of the painting, the green area, that is the back side of a flower. And there's kind of one tucked up in between that we can't really see very well. So I'm going to simplify this just a little bit. All right, let's get started. The first thing we want to do is draw the line that is separating that table from the background. And if you look at it, it's towards the bottom, not all the way down, but definitely lower than halfway. I'm going to draw a little bit dark so that you can see my lines, but make sure you're drawing really lightly, so light that you don't need to erase any of your lines. And the next thing we want to do is draw the next biggest shape, which is the vase. When you draw the vase in, make sure you're leaving enough room for one of the flowers that's going to be on this side, but not putting it straight in the middle of the paper. So our vase is moved over to the right side of our paper just a little bit. So once you draw that little arch in the bottom, you're going to bring your vase up. Once we get past this line, it starts to curve back in. And you can draw a line so that you're keeping them the same. For the flowers, we're just going to draw circles, showing where the flowers are. The first circle is right on top of our vase, and it's pretty big, kind of going at an angle. Then there's a flat one that's just poking right out of the side. Above this one is a really circular one that looks like it's right in the middle of your paper. And then there's another one just right above it that's about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller. And then we have one over here that's a little bit lower than this one, but about the same size. And this little one that's coming off of the edge, just going to be floating for a little while. And then let's come up above all of these shapes. Let's draw this flat one on the side. And then we'll draw this big, beautiful one in right here. It's not directly above this one. It's pushed over to the side a little bit. So let's move it over this way just a little bit. Then there's another one that's smashed into it going at an angle. So like an egg shape right here. One right in this shape. So you should have 11 circles. We can draw some of the stems in. There's a leaf that's coming off of our page. This stem is coming behind this flower. It's almost like the shape of a straw. Then we see part of the stem in here. There is a stem or a petal coming out to this flower. So let's just start from bottom to top. So this flower right here, actually, it might be two flowers together, but there's like a green spot in it. And then this one just has like a little triangle of yellow here. And then you just get the texture kind of on the back side of it. This one has a round face like this. So we can definitely see this round part of the sunflower and then almost like a sun. So it's almost like we're drawing a sun, but we're drawing those down over the top, and then there's a few that come up off of the back. This one has kind of a green center, and then it's a little bit smooth around it, and then this is just pretty circular, almost like a sun. So this right here is actually the back of one of the sunflowers, and I'm going to try to make it as simple as I can. First, we're just going to draw almost a shape of like a flower right here, and then at the end here, we're going to draw almost like shark fins or sun rays, and they're kind of going in different directions. But we're just going to draw a little bit of texture on the back, and this is filled in yellow right here. This is one of my favorite flowers in it. So draw a small circle with a circle around it. This is the center with another one. And this one has all of these cool little yellow dots and tons of texture inside of it. And then this has tons of different petals that are coming off of it. The edges is really where you see the separation. On the inside, there's a little texture, but what really will give it the texture are these outer edges. And to make them thicker, you just put these kind of shapes behind. And then right here, there is one that's just tucked behind, has kind of a yellow center with some other things going on. And then we really just see the texture along the outside of it, almost like this one. All right, now we are at the top of our paper and we're gonna work on the sunflower that's facing the side of the paper. So the front of it is curved, so this would be the front of it. And then we can see all of these different petals going in different directions. These ones are curving towards the back, and there's almost one that's coming along the side of it here. And these ones are curving a little bit more towards the front. This one, we're just going to make a circle, another circle inside with another circle inside. And then these ones are similar to this one, but when we paint it in, we can't see all of that detail. This one is facing down in that direction, so we're gonna just draw a circle. This is the middle of it, another darker circle inside. And then the petals on this side are coming forward. I'll erase some of these so you can kind of see it a little bit better. And they're coming right across this one. There's one that's coming in front. And remember, draw lightly. I'm going to draw dark just so you can see these, but you need to draw really lightly. This one has a center, a few different colors. It's really light, and it has this petal that's just coming all the way up and back, one that comes to the side, and then these ones are pretty sparse. All right, once you've sketched some of those shapes in, if you get those circles in, this next part you can just kind of block the colors in and add those details into the background after. So what colors are we going to use for this? Well, let's look at the painting and see what colors Van Gogh used. There's a lot of yellow, a little bit of red, and a little bit of green. So first, let's go ahead and just block in our background. So just take your light blue and go ahead and start filling in your background. And you can use those hatching lines that he used. And then when I bring my other color in, I'll kind of bring it in these empty spaces. I'm just adding a little bit of yellow blue in there, and then I'm going to take my white and come back over the top of all of it. So we have a light green, a light blue, and then I'm going to grab white. And so the white over the top blends it together. All right, now grab your light yellow, fill in the bottom of the vase. Then take your white and go over the top. And the reason I have a paper towel is to keep these oil pastels clean. You can see I got a little bit of color on there. And then in the top part, we're going to grab our light yellow again, except we're going to add a little bit of our white right on top of it because there is a highlight. This isn't my bright yellow. It's like a medium yellow, I guess. And I'm going to fill in this tablecloth. Then I'm going to take my light yellow and go over the top of that. All right, now let's move up into our sunflowers. So what we're going to do is just block in some of the major colors of the sunflowers, which is yellow. And then we will move into the details like these petals and things that are going on. Some of them are a darker yellow. Some of them are like this, like yellow ochre, kind of mustardy color. So I'm just gonna grab this color first, and I'm gonna draw in this one and this one as well. Then I'm going to grab my pale light yellow and come over the top of these around the edges. So take your lighter yellow and just come around the edges. In this one, I'm just going to come right in the center. And then we can see this color in between these sunflowers. And then this one, we're going to grab our bright yellow, and I'm just coming back in towards the center with this one. Take my light yellow. So on each of these flowers, we're going to put the main color on, then grab a light yellow and come back over the edges. And this one over here, we're just going to put our yellow right in the middle of this one is just kind of like a young sunflower, so these are all going to be green around it. This one is really, really bright. So I'm going to get my light yellow and I'm going to color in all of these petals. And these ones are a little bit more defined. Just look at those lines that you drew before and try to stick to them. And then we have this one over here. We're going to do the same thing. And this one actually is really yellow in the center as well. We'll add a little bit of a darker color and then just come over each petal. And then do the same thing with these other flowers. We're just using our light yellow for these next three to go over the petals. These two, we're going to leave the centers open. And then in this one, we're actually going to go right into the center. This one is mostly green, so I'm just going to put a little bit of yellow right along these edges. And there's a little yellow coming onto it back here. So I'm just grabbing a tiny bit of yellow for that one. And then I'm grabbing that ochre yellow and come around the edges of this one and into the middle and just do this little circle in this color. And then in these two, I'm just gonna take my brown and come around the center of these ones. The inner part of the circle is red, but then there's black. So we're going to put the red in the very center, which is more of like a dark red. So if you have a dark red, grab it. And then grab your black. It's kind of like a little bullseye inside. So now we're just coming in with our different colors and adding some details and some fine lines. So come in with your bright yellow, just like we did with this one. And this one just comes kind of towards the back, almost like it's shooting up. It is lighter than this one. So to get it a little bit lighter, I'm gonna grab my light yellow and come along this edge. So I'm using like this olivey green to make a circle inside of this one, to add a little bit of a darker area back here. There is a little green inside of this one. Now I'm going to grab my brighter green and add a little bit of it inside of this. Down here along the bottom, there is a green stem right here. And this stem right here is outlined in green. And then I'm going to draw these in with my green. And then we'll come over to the really green area, and there's actually a little bit of green on the vase over here in the shadow. And then we're going to add the inside of this one because we haven't really drawn this one in yet. So fill this one in with green. I'm just gonna fill this in and then we can add a few more details in this later. Let's add a green stem coming up to that flower and also some green behind it. And then some green behind this one. We can see a little bit of the green leaves behind it. A green stem for this flower right here. A few green parts. This one has green in the center. And then there is a green petal coming from this flower right here. All right, after you fill in some of those areas, you can darken some up, like for instance, inside of this flower is a little bit darker. After you've blocked in most of the colors of the flowers and you're ready to add a few of these last final details, what I like to do is just kind of look at it and figure out what colors I need to add. Take your brown, outline your vase. There's a line coming through it right here. There is a line in the background. To me, these outlines really are what make it look like Van Gogh. And then you can take that brown and anywhere on your flowers where you want to kind of outline some of the petals and make them stand off. You don't need to outline each individual one though. I would avoid doing that. Anytime in these flowers you want to add a little bit of texture, you can do it with your brown. And I would try to keep this part as loose as you can. I mean, really, it is very loose. And that's it. One of the cool things with this painting too is that he signed it right on the vase. So you can go ahead and put, your signature on there if you would like. And once you're finished, what I like to do is kind of clean up some of my oil pastel pieces that have dropped down. And so I usually will just grab a light oil pastel and pick them up. And you just really touch them and they should lift off of your paper. All right, once you remove some of those extra pieces, you can go ahead and take your tape off. And you are finished. I hope you enjoyed drawing this with me today, and I hope you will celebrate Van Gogh's birthday. We can learn so much from these great artists. Not only the colors they use, but how they drew things, how they put things on there. One thing I love about Van Gogh are his outlines. His outlines really bring things together, and they're almost illustrative to me. Have a wonderful day. We will see you around on YouTube.